Hey, what's happening, guys? So in this video, let us learn about Laravel migrations. And I know that this term migrations might scare the heck out of you, but I'll tell you it's really simple. How? Let's check it out. Well, before that, let me give you what migration introduction is. Basically, a migration, which you'd be finding inside the database and migrations folder, is a way to create a table in MySQL by providing commands like this, and it's a way to perform version control, so you can roll back to whatever version you want to have. So I'll give you an example and then we'll learn migration in a much better manner. Okay, before that we have to understand that these are all the steps that are involved in creating a migration file. Basically, with a migration, you will be in a position to create a table without getting into the MySQL interface at all, right? To give you a better example, let us create a migration file so you will be able to understand what I am talking about. So the command is pretty simple. It is php artisan make migration. Okay, and then you want to give the name of the migration you would want to create. Always remember, migrations are created in this fashion. You will give the name of the table that you would want to create. So for example, I want to create a table called as articles. Okay, so what I would want is, I would say create underscore articles underscore table. Okay, now see, basically we want to create a table that's called as articles. So this is the migration file that we need to be creating, and apart from that you should give two hyphens and say create equals, and then specify the name of the table that you would want to create. I'll say articles. Okay, pretty good. Now if I just click on enter, it said create articles table. It's created, the migration is created, and if you have a look at this migrations file, inside the folder we'll be given with a new file. It's called create articles table, and if you have a look at this, it has created some boilerplate. You don't have to worry too much about this, but what you have to look out is, look at this. It says schema create articles function blueprint table, and this articles is the name of the table that the user wanted to create, and so this is the table that we wanted to create. So here, what are all the fields do we want? We want a field called ID. The ID field is automatically created, and it is automatically incremented as well. So this is what it says: table increments and ID. And then by default, Laravel always considers to create timestamps, the created at and the updated at timestamps. Now if you want to add some more columns to that, this is how you would do it. So you would say table, and then specify the data type you want to create. So right now I want to have, let us say I want to have an article, name of the article and the content of the article at this point. Right now I'm just going to have two columns, and that is the name of the article and the content of the article. Since I am talking about a name, I will specify string name. See, string is the data type and the column name is name, and I'll again create table, and I'll say I want to have content of the article also. So right now I'll just say text, and I'll specify it as content, and then end it with a semicolon. And if you deeply observe, there is one more function called as down, and it simply drops the article tables. We'll understand this right now by performing an actual migration. Now what did we do? We just created a migration so far, but where are we going to use this migration file? We are going to create this and implement it right now. How do I do it? I'll go to my command prompt and I'll say php artisan migrate migrate. That's it. Oops. Yeah, so it's telling me access denied for user so and so. The concept is that I have not set up my database configurations. How do you do that? Let us go to the env file, right? And if you go to the env file, you should specify the name root, username is root, password is let's say root. This is the configurations given from the PHP myadmin, and I don't know, I've not still created a database, so let me just create one. I'll go to my PHP myadmin and I'll create a new database. I'll say tutorial Laravel intro. So this is the name of the database. I'll say create, and now I want to give this database here. This is the name of the database, tutorial Laravel intro. Username is root. You just can go and check out what exactly is your username. By default, if you're running a default installation of WAMP, just give it root and don't enter any password. That would be the default settings. And save this file, and once again php artisan migrate. This time it says migration table created successfully, and also it says, oh, we have migrated 1, 2 and 3. Why? Because we had 1, 2 and 3 files here. So it's basically created 3 tables under the database tutorial Laravel intro. Let's go and have a look at it. If I just go to my home and look, we have this new database. Notice that I didn't even create any of the tables here. So it said articles, migrations, password resets and users. You can ask me, Rakshit, we just created articles, but where are these 3 tables coming from? Well, the answer to your question is, have a look at this here. Create users table. This is already by default present in Laravel. So it's basically having so many fields, and then create password resets table. Oh yeah, that is also by default created by Laravel. And then it says this one, which we created right now, create articles table. So that is how we get 3. But there is one more. We have 4, and it's migrations. Where is this coming from? Well, by default, internally Laravel keeps a record of whatever migrations has been done in this table, and Laravel does not create a migrations file for the migrations record. So that is by default done internally. You don't have to worry about this migrations, but you should definitely consider looking at articles, password resets and users. So right now, for our consideration, we just did articles. If we have a look at the structure, it has ID, name, and then the content, and then created at and the updated at. And this is the data type. I said text. For name I gave string, right? For name I gave string, and string is basically varchar 255, and content is basically a text field, and then created at is a timestamp, updated at is a timestamp, which is automatically taken care by Laravel. So this is the basic introduction to migrations. And by the way, you can actually add modifiers. You can add modifiers such as unique. So if you provide this modifier, basically what it does is, for every record under the content, right, under the content column, the content must be unique. That is what it does. And how do I know that there is a modifier called unique? Well, the answer is very simple. It's in the migrations here. It's in here. the documentation of Laravel. This is a this is a place where you should be visiting very frequently in case you have any doubt. And I'll link it up if you want me to. And here is nullable first comment, and then here we have unique, right? Primary. So I'm not going to go in depth, but this is the whole idea. You can add modifiers, you can add custom attachments like this, and continue chaining them. So you can make it like this: nullable, and then you just make it unique. You can attach how many ever you want to. So it's up to you as an individual and based on your requirements. But the whole concept of migration files and migration is that it would create a table based off of your commands that you've given. And now let me just show you one more thing. So if I say PHP artisan migrate, and I'll give one more rollback, what happened is, as you could possibly expect, that whatever has been migrated would be, let's say, unmigrated, if there is a word, unmigrated. Okay, so here we have these three tables which are actually taken back. How do I know? Let's check it out. Well, if I just try to reload, and see, it has only one migrations table, and the rest of the tables that were created during the previous migration have been taken down. Let's say I just want it once again. What do? Pretty simple. Migrate. Now if I just refresh it once again, so I should have all the tables. You see that? This is the concept, the basic idea of creating a migration file and actually modifying them. And then there is one more thing. How do I know what I should do for the migration command? You just have to type PHP artisan help and then the command that you want to issue. So if I say make migration, right? What if, see, for example, what if I wanted to add one more entry here, such as, let us say, category. What if I just wanted to add another entry here and I would want it to be called as a category? What should I do then? What? By default, if you are basically working generally, what would you have done? You would have simply deleted all the tables and then you would have created another version, and that is a really pain throughout. So what can you do? What is the solution? The solution is pretty simple. All you have to do is you can create another migration file and then add a column to it. So this is how I would do it. So if you look at this, this is the usage of the command make migration options and then specify whatever you want to specify. So let's not worry about that. PHP artisan, I want to add a column. How do I do? PHP artisan make migration and then specify what is that migration file going to do. I would specify it as add categories to articles table. And notice this is the standard convention in creating a migration file. After that, what you should do is, because I'm going to modify the already existing table, I would say hyphen table equals articles, right? And what did I create? Just confirming it. Yeah, it is articles, not article. Okay, so this is how I would do it. PHP artisan make migration, add categories to articles table, and table equals articles. So when I say table equals articles, it means we are telling Laravel to pick up on articles table and do whatever the migration file says to do. Previously, what we had done, we just had said to create the table. If you remember the command, we said create equals articles. Now we are doing table equals articles. So let's just give it a shot and see what happened. As you could expect, there is another migration file, and here is that migration file. Add categories to articles table, and by default it created a boilerplate, and the boilerplate says you have to consider the articles table which is already created. And I wanted to add categories, right? So it would be table string. Categories is going to be a string, and I'll say it is categories. And then if I end it, I'll end it with a semicolon, and pretty much simple. It's direct. So I would just say PHP artisan, my PHP artisan what? Come on guys, what? PHP artisan, it is migrate. Good. So right now, basically we have done the migration. Let us go and check out our table structure. So nothing extra added here. Good. So it is picked up on the articles table. Let us see the structure. You see that? Categories got added up just like that by the mere creation of a migration file. And I know if you are absolutely new to this, you don't find it amazing. But if you have been using this table creation, and in case, and if you're seasoned in creating the table, now you know the power of Laravel table migrations. You know, this is the single most powerful tool that you can actually leverage, like how much ever you want to leverage. Like, this is really amazing, and this is the entire concept about migration. And you can ask me, what if I want to drop all the tables and refresh and completely do a new set of values? What should I do then? Then what you should do is, see, for example, I've altered everything now. Let's say I want to add one more thing here. Let's say I wanted to change one more field. I want to add let's say last name, and I'll say first name here, right? And let's say password resets I'm not going to touch. I am going to add one more here. Let's say I would be doing something like this in, let's say, content body, right? Content body, this will be content title. Good. And I think this should do the trick. I don't want to alter anything. Now that I've completely changed everything, what should I do? Well, what you should do is you must say PHP artisan migrate refresh. And be careful, migrate refresh will basically drop all your tables and rebuild all the tables. So that means all the records that were present inside are gone if you do a migrate refresh. So basically it rolled back and then it migrated. Now if you look at users table, we should have one first name, we should have a last name, and then we should have content title, content body. Let's go check it out. Let me refresh it once again. See this? For articles we have content title, we have content body, and then for users we have let me reload it first. For users, what do we have extra? We need to have a first name and a last name, right? So name, whoa, what's going on? Name, email, password, remember token. Did I mess it up somewhere? First name, last name. What's going on? Alright guys, let's see what's going on. I'll just say rollback, PHP artisan migrate rollback. and if we refresh once again, we should have nothing. And oops, this is the wrong thing that I've done. I have not saved. How could I be so bad? I've not saved. Okay, now that I've saved everything, now I'll just say PHP artisan migrate. Okay, and let me just refresh it once again and go to users table, structure. You see that? First name and last name. So guys, I wouldn't edit this. I would leave it just like that. I would leave the raw video as it is, so you can learn from my mistakes, and you can actually not repeat the same mistakes over and over again. So this is the whole idea of creating a migration and trying to work with migrations, because migrations gives the amazing power to directly add a column, directly add an entry without disturbing any database entries. And always remember, PHP artisan migrate refresh is a pretty dangerous command, because it will drop all the tables and it would create another set of table, which is basically, in other words to say, creating a new schema without any records. So be pretty careful about using the refresh command, but the rest of the commands are pretty good, direct, straightforward. So that's about it regarding the Laravel migration, guys. In the next video, let us see and progress this Laravel journey. And I hope you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, share and comment. Thank you.